Howdy y'all, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Handy Monk, and today we're working on tree removal. As you can see right behind me, a part of this mesquite tree has fallen down and is covering the stairs. I was actually just working in my room this afternoon, got a phone call that there was a tree covering the sidewalk. So I came out to investigate and I found this. The tree is split right here. I'm not exactly sure why, but upon a little bit further investigation, I do notice some bugs in here. The wood is a little bit discolored, so we might have actually had a bug problem on this tree. And you can see at one of the lower branches right here, around this joint, there is also some sort of discoloration indicating that the tree might be sick there. There might be a bug infection, and so that would have weakened that joint, and with the wind that came through, probably caused this branch here to split. And so I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen to the future of this tree. You know, that is a pretty big cut down the side, but for now I just want to clear the sidewalk, so I'm going to cut as little as possible just so I can move this branch out of the way, and then I'll come back later, maybe talk to an arborist and see if there's anything we can do to kind of help heal this wound or figure out where else we might need to cut this tree to save it for the future. But for now, I think I'm just going to kind of come cut under here. Actually, I think I'm going to cut off some of the bigger chunks first and then do my closer cut to the tree a little bit later. That way I can get the bulk of this out of the way and do my final cuts a little more safely without having a lot of tree hanging on while I'm cutting. So the life of the Handy Monk is always full of activity. You never know what to expect. So let's go ahead, pull out the chainsaw and see if we can get this cleared off. Chainsaw is a very fantastic tool to have around the house. It's really useful, but it's also a tool that you really want to respect, because if you're not careful, you can really hurt yourself with this chain. And so it's a tool that's great, but you want to use with caution and due respect for the tool. Before you get started with a chainsaw, you always want to check two things: your gas and your bar oil. The bar oil is very important. What this does is it lubricates the chain as it's constantly spinning. As the chain is going around and cutting through your branch or your log or whatever it is that you're cutting, it can get very hot, and so you always want to keep it lubricated to keep it from burning out and dulling out. Here I have my chainsaw. This is my gas and oil, and this is a 2-stroke chainsaw, which most chainsaws are, so you want to make sure that any gas you're adding is mixed with oil. I happen to have enough gas in here because I checked it a little while ago. It's good to run. Just tighten that back up. And here we have our bar oil fill. Again, it's labeled on the cap, bar oil. You just want to take it off. Also want to check it. It is also full, especially for this job that we're doing here. And whenever you're using a chainsaw, if you're operating, you always want to make sure that when you refill the gas, you also refill with bar oil. I have a Husqvarna bar oil. Doesn't really matter what brand it is as long as it's quality bar and chain oil for your chainsaw. So let's go ahead, get this guy fired up, and start cutting back this tree. Now, when I start a chainsaw, there's always two things I check. First, I always want to make sure that the chain lock is engaged. So back is always unlocked, forward is the lock position. I do this just to make sure that when the chainsaw starts, the chain doesn't start rotating on me, doesn't surprise me, doesn't do anything bad in case the throttle's stuck, or just to be safe. Other than that, it's like starting any other 2-stroke motor. Got the lock engaged. On this particular chainsaw, there's the on-off switch right here, so I'm gonna open that up, pull the choke, though it might be a little bit warm since I did check this just a minute ago, but I'm gonna pull the choke anyway, make sure it starts, give it a pull, put the choke in, and we're good to go. You also always want to make sure that you have the appropriate safety gear to protect yourself. So I always call it my eyes and my ears. So I have my sunglasses here, and these are safety glass sunglasses. Since I'm working outside, they are polarized, but they're also impact resistant, so they won't shatter. And then I also have my ears, because we are using a rather loud piece of equipment and I don't want to damage my hearing. And finally, I have my gloves just to protect my hands, grab the wood or anything else that might be falling or coming in my way during this cut. So let's gear up and go ahead and get this cut. have it, guys. Everything is nice and cleaned up. I got the stairways clear and just piled the tree off to the side for now. I'll take it off to our brush pile a little bit later, maybe when it's not so hot out. But as you can see, it's a pretty simple process, just a few cuts. I was able to pull it away. I did make sure when I got close to the tree itself, the part that was still good, that I undercut the existing part that was hanging off, because you want to make sure when you make that final cut that there is something to stop the bark from continuing to peel on the tree. And so if you undercut it, you can help protect the bark from peeling away after you make that final cut through anything as your piece falls off and wants to kind of tear the bark with it. That undercut will stop the tear process and save the rest of the bark on your tree. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, if you like what you saw, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below, let me know what you think, hit that notification bell, and follow me on Instagram to get a sneak peek of upcoming videos. And as always, remember, go out, enkindle, and enlighten.